Hi everyone, welcome to DevOps Info channel. So far in the previous two videos, we had a look at setting up the Sentinel and utilization of the monitoring part with the Sentinel workbooks and the analytics. In this video, we look at the option of Microsoft Sentinel automation. Yes, there is an option in the Microsoft Sentinel to uh, use the incident assignment and also do some kind of automation activities for a few of the recurring incidents that's coming into the Microsoft Sentinel incidents. Let's take a deep dive on this video to have more information on that. So the first thing is like once your data sources are linked to the Microsoft Sentinel, you can visualize the data and track the data using the Azure Monitor workbooks and the Microsoft Sentinel analytics. So we had a look at the workbooks and also uh, the analytics in the previous videos. That one we could see like over the left you have the workbooks and then you have the analytics. So with these two options, like you can well visualize your data and track the data using the two options and whatever the options you come across. So there could also an additional request that could come from the SOC managers that okay, I have got the visibility of my data and then I could see them in the dashboards, and also the possibility to create an incident is present. But how about like if I want to do some automation, like I want to automatically assign the incidents to my team, or let's say if I want to notify Microsoft Teams channel about an incident which is being triggered, for example, Microsoft Defender or for some Azure AD identity protection alerts. So all these kind of things can be done through the help of the automation and the playbooks. We'll take a look at them. So first thing is like while creating the automation rules, you also have an option to decide if you want to add any additional task. For example, if incident that is coming triggered from the Microsoft Defender alerts, so you can add multiple tasks because for that incident you might have a few set of standard operation procedure that is created based on your environment. So like all these tasks needs to be completed and then only then you can close the incident. And also you can create a automation rule to close a false positive. For example, if you get a kind of a false positive alert from the Azure identity protection, you can just create a false positive alerts. Okay, if you receive such kind of alerts, just close it directly. So this will also reduce this kind of recurring incident. Um, excuse me. So this will help you to tag the noisy tag and close the noisy occurrences or any false positives, adjust the severity, and automatically allocate to the appropriate individuals. Additionally, they serve as a means via which the playbooks can be executed. So, like if you can have an automation and then further, if you want to do some kind of an action, you can do the playbooks. You can create a playbooks and then do the same. So what is the playbooks like a question might come, okay, what is the background of the automation and the playbooks? Because Microsoft Sentinel automation and the playbooks are purely based on the workflows that is created in the Azure Logic Apps. So with the Logic Apps, it is able to do a trigger and an action. So like a trigger can be an event that is coming from your data, and then based on that, it can do an action. So this will give you access to flexibility, functionality, and then use your existing templates, and then playbooks will employ your logic apps in the backend, and then that it will help you to further customize your requirement. But one thing to keep in mind is like the logic apps are extra charges, so you need to keep in mind that each and every logic apps, each and every playbook with an incident trigger or a playbook with an alert trigger, whatever you're creating in the backend, a logic app is created. So you also need to consider this in mind, and suggest to take a look at the Azure Logic Apps pricing page. Going further, let me scroll down, and this is the place where you can see the automation. So in the automation, the first thing you see is like automation rules. So this automation rules, as I said earlier, it can be used to uh, automatically assign your incident or can take any kind of action for a recurring incident that's coming in. So in our example, I have just created two, which you take a look at them in few seconds. So in order to create an automation rule, like from the GUI, you can just click on create and then use the option automation rule. Uh, so the first one which I have created is like, for example, IDP alert, which is from the identity protection. When an incident is created, and then analytic rule name contains create incident based on the Microsoft Defender for Office 365 alerts. So these are the ones that is coming from your analytics. So this is like one of my analytic rule. I'm just selecting it for the example. So for example, if I choose an Azure Activity Alert, and I can just change the severity. For example, any kind of Azure Activity Alert that comes, I don't want to keep it high because I always have my 24/7 SOC monitoring team. So just in case if it is going to be high, then I need to open a P1 bridge and then start all the other tasks. But since I have already the SOC team, they've been informed. I always wanted to keep the medium only for the Azure Activity Alerts. So this one, like I can keep it medium and then change the status to active and then proceed further. Just in case, for example, if you notify any kind of a false positive information that is coming from your data, you can create a separate analytics rule and then just target that particular analytic rule. For example, okay, I'm just creating choosing the rule SOC monitoring. So this SOC monitoring can have any kind of false positive alerts. So I can just go and change the severity. No, I can select the change severity, and then I have the option change the status. Even I can just go and change the status to closed. That is possible because if already an rule which is able to capture the false positives, I can use this. Thereby, I can subsequently reduce the number of spamming incidents of a known solution that's coming into the environment. Uh, and going further down, you have the rule expiration. It's always recommended to keep it as indefinite if you're going to set up a proper SOC team, or if you're creating any kind of rule that is required to suppress the false positive, then you can set particular time. Okay, so this is about the automation rule. For example, raising changing the severity level from high to medium, and then you have an option to close it as well. The other example which I'm going to show you is the incident assignment. This is good. So in the incident assignment, like for example, when an incident is created and if the analytic rule name contains all, because I wanted to assign the incident to of the category everything. So I've just selected all, and then I can assign the owner, and then the rule expression is indefinite. So when I go and do this, like for example, when I go to the incidents over the left, I see it's already created and assigned to me. See, for example, this is one of the incident which was created and it is assigned to me. So this kind of auto assignment you can do with the automation option in the Microsoft Sentinel automation option, which is good. So this is what the major benefit of the automation rule. So like it can help you in auto assigning the incident and also closing the false positives. Uh, this is the main benefit of the automation rule. The next one is the playbooks. When you talk about the playbooks, there are two types of playbooks. The first one you see is an incident trigger, and the second one you see it as an alert trigger. So the incident trigger is, as the name states, like using this trigger, it will allow the playbook to be attached to an automation rule so that it can be triggered when an incident is created or also updated. So that is possible even now. So this can be applied with this playbook with an incident trigger. So what happens like when someone creates an incident and then this playbook will be attached to that particular automation rule so that this will be triggered and subsequent action will take place. I can show you an example. For example, I have the playbooks. When I go to the active playbooks, you can see these are the active playbooks I have. The first one which I'm going to show you is the incident trigger. This is the example which I created. So in the incident trigger, I see like there is a logic app designer. When you proceed in creating this incident trigger, when you proceed to create this playbook with the incident trigger, then you would be redirected to the logic app, and then you have to create your trigger and then action. So in this case, what I have done is like this is the Microsoft Sentinel incident. So when a Microsoft Sentinel incident comes in, post a message in a Teams chat. How do you verify that? I can show that in a minute. Because in order to show for an example, what I have done is like simply create whenever a Microsoft Sentinel incident comes in, just post a message into a SOC team channel so that everyone is notified, and the particular engineer during that shift would be able to pick up and take an action on that. We could see that in a minute. My Microsoft Teams web client is loading. You could also add multiple actions, like for example, if you want to send an email, that is possible. And also, if you want to create any kind of test, sorry, any kind of action further, that is possible. Okay, I think it came. Um, Going into the Teams, I can show an example. Okay, so this is my Teams. So going back, post a message in a team or channel. So I wanted to expand and show this what I did. So like whenever you receive a incident from Microsoft Sentinel, uh, choose the team Microsoft 365 productivity, and in the Microsoft 365 productivity, look for the channel SOC, and then send a message, "Hi team, there is a new incident on Sentinel for your action." So when I go back, I'm just going to Microsoft 365 productivity. This is my team. Under that, I have the channel SOC. When I click on the SOC, I see like there is a new incident on Sentinel for action, because I already have two incident. So that's the reason when the two incident came in, I see this message has been posted. So whenever a new incident is coming in, then this flow will trigger whatever you have created is this flow bot would trigger, and then based on the incident that is coming from Microsoft Sentinel, that is going to send you a message. This is really good. I would definitely say, this would uh, drastically reduce the management of the alerts, and taking the actions quickly. And going further, there is one more important point which you need to talk about it. If you already worked in the Azure Logic Apps, then this is already known to you. So here you can do the incident trigger based on the identity. So in the identity, you can make this flow to run either with the system assigned or user assigned. I always suggest to run it with the system assigned managed identity. So that is always better. So if you're going to do a user assigned, then the user assigned managed identities needs to have the appropriate permission to run this flow. So that's one part. And in the logic app designer, if you want to see how many times it has run, you can also see that. For example, when you go and run the trigger. Okay, so in the overview, you see here there's an option to run the trigger. So when you run the trigger, it would start running, but here it's not going to bring a message because already I have two incidents, and that's the reason I have received this. I have received this. Okay, so when I run it, so you see the flow has triggered, and then it sends there is a new incident on Sentinel for action. So you can also see the history, which is good. And then, yeah, this is what about the playbook with an incident trigger. So going back, there is also something called playbook with an alert trigger, which I can show you in the SOC monitoring. So you have something called playbook with alert trigger. In the automation, you go back, and then you see there is something called playbook with alert trigger. So this playbook with alert trigger is advisable, like for playbook that needs to be run on alerts manually from the Microsoft Sentinel portal, or for any scheduled analytics rules that you have. Then only during that time, if you want the alert to action, so then you can use the playbook with alert trigger. For example, I have also created one for showing that in the active playbook. You see here there is a test alert which I've created. So here the action, what is the action type is the logic app designer. When the Microsoft Sentinel alert is coming in, and then on that, when you have a new high severity alerts, then you have to post a message in the chat. So like on a Microsoft Sentinel alert, this is not incident. When you receive a Microsoft Sentinel alert, and in the Microsoft Sentinel alert, if you receive any high severity alerts, then you're going to post a message to the SOC team channel. So this one, like you can run the trigger, or what you can do is like you can have analytics rule created schedule. Okay, you can create an analytics rule once in 6 hours or once in a day, and then when that particular analytic rule runs, then you can configure to trigger this test alert. So that is also possible, because when you see in the Microsoft Sentinel alert, here itself you see the operation description. When a response to Microsoft Sentinel alert is triggered, this playbook is triggered by the analytics rule or by manual triggering. So this is a better, advisable for playbooks that needs to run on alerts manually from the Microsoft Sentinel portal, or for schedule analytics rule that don't generate incidents. In those scenarios, you can definitely use this option. Uh, so the last part which you're going to take a look at is the playbook templates. So the playbook templates or the pre-made tried and the true workflow, which has been created by Microsoft. And this can also be altered based on your needs, which is really good. So when creating a playbook from the scratch, you can also use, like the existing logic to modify according to your needs. Okay, let's take a look at this example. Because to navigate to the playbook, it is also you have to go to the automation and then click on the playbook templates. So in the playbook templates, you have a lot of the templates which is already created and tested by the Microsoft. So if you see here, for example, if you have any third-party uh, firewall, so block IP from the Cisco ASA. So this playbook allows blocking the IP from the Cisco ASA. That is also possible. And if you have Palo Alto, they also have created one for the Palo Alto. And there was really another interesting one which I wanted to show you. Yeah. For example, if you have a ticketing system Snow service now, so this playbook, if you utilize this playbook, will open a service now incident when a new incident is open in Azure Sentinel. This is really cool, right? So, like for example, most of the organization would use the enterprise-wide uh, ticketing system. For example, it's a service now, or it's a or it's a manage engine or anything. So even Zendesk. So here, like for example, in the Snow, if your enterprise organization already have a service now, then it's simple. Like if you can utilize this playbook templates, then this would open a service now incident when a subsequent incident is open in the Azure Sentinel. So the particular SOC team, if they are completely following the incident management in the Snow, then they would be notified for the alerts and they can act on it. And also for example, I also used one example which is for the Azure AD identity protection alert. Uh, and for by default, these are not utilized, and they are just present as a template. And it's in the previous state. Whenever if you want to utilize, then those one will change it into the state in use. For example, I just attempted confirm a risky user. This is the whatever the template that you're trying or utilizing, that would change in the state as in use. So this confirm AID risky user on the right, if you see, for each account entity that is included in the incident, this playbook will set the risky user property using the beta API. So I just enable this. I can show you the active playbooks. If you go to the confirm AAD risky user, Yeah, of course, it's working on the logic apps in the backend. So if you go to the logic app, so this is the Microsoft Sentinel incident, and then it is looking for the accounts, and for each of the accounts, it is looking if the Azure AD is confirmed as a risky user, then again Azure AD IP is confirmed as risky user, then the comment is it is mentioning like it was confirmed as compromised via the playbook. So this is also working in the backend logic app designer, which means like you can pick any one of the existing playbook templates and then modify them according to your needs. So I would say, like currently it's in the preview state. You can also definitely take a look at that and see if that is going to help you in the modification according to your requirement. So yeah, so overall, I would say that's all we have covered on the automation part for the Microsoft Sentinel. So this Microsoft Sentinel automation gives you the ability to develop and organize with a small number of rules. You can cover variety of multiple scenarios and then automate your incident management and also uh, marking and closing the false positives that is coming in your environment. And a playbook is a compilation of various corrective actions that can also be routinely executed from the Microsoft Sentinel. So, for example, when triggered by specific alerts or incidents, uh, the automation rules and also this playbook templates also can help a lot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.